Good morning, everyone. Welcome along. Welcome to Steel Horse Station. Oh, what's going on with my... So somehow... Let's have a look here. Just bear with me, everybody. Something has changed. I now have my headphones on about a 7-second delay, which is really annoying. And what's even more annoying is it's not obvious why, because according to OBS, it should be working just like it normally does. In fact, there should be no monitoring signal at all. What is going on here? Let's try. That'll at least give you something interesting to, more interesting to look at. Now why? I've got my mic. Hello, hello, hello. No. What is causing that delay? It's muted. That is very confusing. Apologies for the delay, folks. I have to figure this out because it's not workable. What about if I turn that off? Oh, no, that didn't work. Okay, how am I going to do this? So we've got game sound, so that's... It is looping somehow. It's very odd. Welcome whoever's just joined. Great to have you in. I'm just about to roll over the day. Let's go over to the next day. I'm presuming that you're not getting two lots of microphone in the stream. If somebody could confirm that, that would be really helpful. But here we are in July. Let's have a quick look at what contracts are available. A couple of baling contracts that we're not interested in, and a raft of harvesting contracts, which we were expecting. Oats, wheat, oats, barley. All low field numbers up as high as 43. Let's have a look where they are on the... So that they're pretty much up here. What is happening here? Stream's fine. G'day, Klaus. Welcome in. Hope you're well. Can you tell me if you're getting any, good audio? I'm getting some strange problems, which I don't know how to deal with. Okay. So what I might just have to do is go without headphones for the minute, because I can't figure out why that's working that way. Main volume, left and right. Okay. Let's get on with playing. So, where are we here? So we're in July, as I was saying, and there should be game audio now. The issue is I'm getting a loop of my microphone audio, which, according to all of the settings I've got to turn that off, is turned off. So we're up at the main farm. We'll just run over and check at the cows. And you should have cows in your audio now. Right, good. So as long as you guys are getting what we need, I will just play in silence. Just do something that I normally rely on as a trigger. We don't need one of those. Goes wrong, I'll miss it, so you'll have to tell me. Now, cows, 8 of 100. They have enough food for today. They have enough water for today. So the basic plan today, if we have a look in the crop map, is we have 2 fields of our own that are ready for harvest. So what I'm thinking is that we go and deal with those first, because we will have a big canola field coming along fast behind it, and we will harvest it as a single field. But once we get rid of our own field, as you can see, there's a bunch here on the map, some of which have got contracts, so we can look at getting our own income sorted out. And if we have a look at the sales, what is that? That is a trailer that's too big for this area, would be my guess, albeit potentially helpful, and nothing else that's going to be of use in the harvest scenario. So let's jump to the other farm and get sorted out. Oop, what am I doing up here? In a harvester, so we can trundle down the street here. We will, of course, get some hay that we'll also want to deal with. We'll need a truck, so first up, let's just get the crop off the small field. I think will be the go. And just see how we progress. I hope everyone's had a good week. I certainly have. We're very much in the swing of autumn here. Everybody's getting back to operating flat out after Easter. Lots of people take school holidays. It's pretty much the end of term for many folks here. I reckon we will, where will we put this? I reckon we'll put it opposite our driveway, so we've got some chance of being able to get it on. If I recall correctly, Klaus, you're playing on the Oaks at the moment. How are you enjoying it? That gate is just not very friendly for getting in, is it? No, it is not. Almost. Just need enough angle to pick the header up. Come on. Hit yourself. There you go. Now we're away. Looks like we're reasonably maintained. Gonna have the next problem is missing the back of the trailer. Gonna scrub out a whole set of tires just on the in and out of our driveway here. Come on. There we go. Right. 450 hours. That is a fair amount. Out of curiosity, how much of the map do you own? Rightio, now we're away. Just get this. So one of the things that I'm been thinking about, coffee is required. I feel like I've got a cold. One of the things I've been thinking about is we've got Harold and his 5 children, so we've got plenty of people to work. As we approach harvest season, what's the best way in the long term to prepare? We've been talking the last couple of streams about potential growth options for the farm and investments. You can see with rolling over the day, we've got over 300,000 stored up. While I think of it, let's just jump out of the cab and take our daily action, which is to pay off the principal part of our loan, which is another 7,500, so that'll take us down to 795. 795, 1, 2, 3. And so we'll save that. There we go. So that's for those that haven't been with us before. That's just to automate the pay down of the principal of the loan. Okay, so you've got the area up round up at the top here, round where we've set up as the car as the cow farm. Cool. Yeah, our scenario here is that Putney Manor originally sort of encompassed all of this area, and over the last few years has had to, well, the last couple of decades has sold a heap of it off. So we're going to buy our way back gradually. The bank was pretty unhappy with us, so as you just saw on that previous screen, we're paying a pretty horrid interest rate, 9% I think it is. So while our loan looks small, like compared to yours, nonetheless we are finding it pretty expensive. We're paying the kids, so the 5 Putney children are getting a wage which gets deducted at the start of every day. So I'm using the daily deductions mod to do that. So we're paying them, I think it works out at about 1,500. Each. So we've got a fair few cash flow things, but we've managed to get on top of that. Yeah, 4%, you'd take 4% every day of the week if you could get that in the current climate. I don't think many farmers would be operating on 4% these days. And we've got it on normal economy rather than hard, just so that in the context of a stream, I can keep it moving along a little bit while still not making it super easy. So coming along quite nicely, I think. But as I was saying, what I was trying to think about, and if Mark Haythornwaite was with us, he'd probably pop in. It's not so much the money burning a hole in my pocket as I'm trying to work through what the options are for the future that would make sensible investments, so that we expand at a good rate and have a little bit of fun along the way. So having 300,000 just sitting there in my mind doesn't make a lot of sense. It's much more useful if it's working for us. So one of the thoughts that I was kind of working through, and I haven't done the sums, if we have a look at, we've got our eggs going now, and as you can see, we're starting to get a reasonable accumulation, so we'll need to sell some of those today. That also means we need to buy a piece of equipment. Cool. That sounds like a good story, Klaus. We need to buy something to handle the eggs, because we're going to end up with lots and lots of pallets in our little egg, or in our 4 egg sheds. We'll end at fully stocked. We'll end, and we'll be able to let the stocking go now that we've got some wheat to feed them. Sorry, barley to feed them. But what I was going to look at on here, so I was talking about sugar beet potentially, which won't come up for harvest for a couple of months. And one of the suggestions was, and quite a good suggestion, that sugar beet, you know, pays a little bit, but turning it into sugar is a better proposition. And so what I was curious about was, what is the price curve for sugar like? And the answer is a tick under 950. So 1,000 litres of sugar. Now, what I haven't looked at is what is the formula in the sugar factory. Assuming it's roughly the same as normal sugar factories, I think you get about, in fact, we can go and have a look in a second. I know an easy way to check it out, unless someone in the chat is familiar with the particular sugar plant that Farm Sim Brisco put on here, and can tell us what the formula is for sugar beet. If not, we'll go and duck into a save game and see if we can find it. And not a save game, the XML in the map. Because as it turns out, in order to do the little tweaks, I have a directory with that in it. Let's finish that line of thought while we're thinking about it. Let's just pause this here just for a second so nothing untoward happens while we're away. And we can go over here and desktop. I want to go there, 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 there. Right. Now I can flick you guys across. So if I go into, where are we? Placeables, I'm tipping that Farm Sim Brisco has his sugar mill. Modified in here. Let's have a look. And it's going to be in that one. Yep, 250,000 is the cost. So that's the one that is placed at the end of the map. Has he done anything? So what we're looking for here is the formula. So 3 sugar beet in gives you 1 sugar out. So it's a pretty simple formula. So basically a third of the volume. It holds 500,000 sugar beets, litres of sugar beet, and the throughput rate 500 cycles an hour. So it's not super fast, but it's steadily fast enough. So basically it's going to produce 512,000 litres an hour of sugar. So that will be plenty. Right. So, and sugar beet cut is a little bit more efficient. So we'd definitely be better off cutting it and then putting it in. So 3 sugar beet cut gives us 1 3/4 sugar. So that's a much more efficient recipe, but we'll work just on the raw sugar beet recipe for a minute and leave the sugar beet cut one as profit, because the cycle rate for processing sugar beet cut is lower, which is interesting. So we don't need that anymore. Let's go across to there. So what that basically tells us is, if we work on the principle that it's $1,000 best price for sugar, the mill's going to cost $250,000 and is far and away the best way to sell sugar beet. So we need 3 times as much. Whoops, we're full. So we need 750,000 litres of sugar beet, or near enough to pay for the factory, is the way I'd think about that. Now we want a cartage vehicle. Actually, what are we going to use here? We can use anything we like. Trailers. We're only bringing it back to the farm, so just popping the trailer on the Massey will be just as easy as anything else, given the trucks are at the other farm. We'll think more extensively about our cartage when we get into contract mode. So the next question is, how much land do we need to generate 750,000 litres of sugar beet? My guess is not a ridiculous amount. That, for instance, something like this field 68 on our left, it'd probably produce in the order of 500,000. I don't know what the yield formula is. I don't know if anybody does. The reason I'm working through the calculation is I'm trying to figure out if doing contracts for sugar beet is going to fund enough of the purchase of the sugar factory before we get into it ourselves, or do we, you know, like we could buy it outright today, but we don't have any sugar beet in the ground, right? So we're not going to get much return on our investment. Or do I hold that thought for next year and see what happens when we roll forward? So in particular, focus this year on expanding our grain crop capabilities in terms of farming and harvesting. With a view to building up that capability and producing a strong enough cash flow to then leap into sugar beet. Now, I think based on the economics of the, if the sugar processing plant wasn't so expensive, I would probably leap to the sugar beet direction. But I think given its price, might be better off and create more options for ourselves if we take a slightly more roundabout route to it. So what I'm thinking is maybe we buy another one of these. It's not a particularly big, I'd sort of put it in the cheap and cheerful harvester category, so it's not certainly not going to break the bank. But it would substantially increase our ability to work through contracts and prepare us for expanding our own fields. It would leave us with the cash to be able to get some towed sugar beet equipment, so we could put our toe in the water there while we wait, hopefully somewhere down the track, for self-propelled unit to come up in the sales, so it makes us less urgent about that. And it gives us another piece of equipment to run. It also means then potentially we get a bit more flexible. We can keep one harvester in this end of the map and one harvester up at the cow farm, which sort of just reduces the travel time if we're taking contracts in a couple of different spots. So I'm thinking that's the direction we're going to develop. Farm Sim Brisco, welcome in, sir. Great to have you in the stream. We've got Klaus in here as well. We've just heard he's 450 hours in, so a little bit ahead of me. I think, I haven't looked recently, but I think I'm up around 120 hours, which gives you an idea that I've done a little bit between streams, because we probably only streamed about 50 of that. But we're starting to get our own crop in, which is nice. Let's have a look. Yes, it is nice to see green trees. Well, we're definitely in summer. Where's the stats page? We there we go, 113 hours in. And some of these stats are a bit interesting. Nothing else leaps off the page there. Put a bit of thrown a bit of fertilizer around. 114,000 litres. But there you go. Oh, very good. That's very clever. I noticed Virtual Farmer's been streaming on Twitch because he's moved the realism experiment over, and he's had some interesting yeah, say no more. He's had some interesting patterns on his fields with the snow mask. I'm guessing that's got something to do with the way fields are defined in the editor. That's not necessarily obvious until you get to it. I know a little bit about how that's done, but not enough to, and not having done it myself. Ah, okay, so it's related to that. This is coming along nicely. I was just saying, I think we'll invest in another one of these harvesters, seeing we're a little bit financial. Yeah, snow always surprises you Brits out. I've always intrigued. The first snow of the season seems to turn your public transport system into chaos, as though it's never happened before, yet it's a regular event. I always find that quite amusing. So, oops, let's try not drive on our crop. Okay, truck, where are you? Over there. Stuck across. You guys don't get too hot. You get a nice warm sunny day, that's about it. Yes, it's out of the normal weather is challenging. Doesn't matter where you live. Building materials tend to do odd things when they're at the extreme of their temperature range. So let's go up the shop. So we know there's nothing for us in the second-hand market, so I'm thinking let's go in here. And I don't think mixing equipment types, I did toy briefly with, do we give a 105 Dominator a run, but I think we'll just go with another one of what we've got. Makes some sense to me that we would be searching around to have a matching pair. So let's we don't need anything clever on this. We certainly won't put GPS on it. We'll buy that and get out of there. The combinations, we need to buy one of those. And one of those. So then what I'm thinking, if we come back to contracts, now we've got a vehicle that's in the top half of the map. What have we got here? Field 14 is oats. Field 25 is just near our farm. So I reckon let's grab 25 and 28 to start with. And send someone up there. Nope. That's where we want to be. So we'll get one of the kids going on one of those contracts. And see what we can do to increase our financial situation. Which way on the trailer does it go? That way around. In the first instance, we want to be generating about $80,000. So that way that'll have paid for this equipment just in these contracts is kind of the way I'm looking at it. So we'll have doubled our farm capacity. And funded it. And the extra advantage that'll create is a lot more flexibility getting the canola off. Where are we heading to? We want to be going to field, which was the bigger one? The bigger one is, so we want to be going to field 28. I think, oh no, 25's closer. Let's just go to 25. You can go to 25 north might be a good choice. And while we're thinking about it, we don't need another tractor up there at this stage. Although, given that's a bigger contract, what we might do, what's the capacity on our little auger here? It's got seeds in it, we'll leave it. Just thinking out loud. We've got you, which can't carry anything. We've got our truck up here. We need, realistically, to buy a trailer for this prime mover for grain, because this guy does the job, but he's slow as a wet week. So he's kind of the when all else fails unit. So maybe what we do, let's have a look at trailers. Has anybody got any recommendations for something like that, but a British styled or European styled trailer? Because that's just too long. I don't need it to be an overload. I'm sort of thinking maybe we could go something along those lines. It doesn't need to be that big. Maybe something like the Demler. That might do the job. That kind of looks more the part. And the length looks more appropriate. Oh, here we go. I did find some. So we've got a Flegel. What are you, 48? What do people think? Demler or Flegel? I've even got a cramp. Probably go. The extension makes it high, which is potentially a problem with our augers aren't that long. That's quite a bit cheaper. 30 square meters, 30 cubic meters. Here we go. What's this guy? He kind of looks the part. Crappy color choices. Sarah's too expensive. There are certainly lots of trailers. $24, that's a rear dolly. Or the Randons. Twin axle Randon wouldn't be a horrible choice. What's that? 45,000. Maybe that's what we go with. Let's just do one of those. Continental. Oh, tires are expensive. Regular Continental, short mudguard. No hubcaps. No. Side protection, yes. I like the black. The main color. Truck's white, so let's go with white. That'll do us. 60,000. Where's the extra funding coming from? Cover color. I don't want to pay $5,000 for the cover color. Looks like we're round in 70 years then. 5,000 bucks for side protection. We don't need protection that badly. Okay, 50,000. That'll do. So let's take you. So then we can send this man back to the shop. and get ourselves transport organised. So you need to go to the dealership. Pick that trailer up. With any luck, that contract harvester should be just about where he needs to be. Where are we? Coming around by field 72. Not particularly close at present. We'll go back to harvesting our own field for a minute. Whoops, driving a straight line, he's drunk. Drunk in charge of a header. So there's a few other bits of equipment that are potentially on our list. One is a telehandler, I think. And potentially a skid steer for the chicken farm. I think a skid steer is the right vehicle to get in and out of the those sheds. And moves the egg pallets around. I did put in some mods too for spawn point options for our bees that we put down. So those that didn't catch the last stream, we're experimenting with bees down the side of the canola fields just to see what that does to the yield. So we haven't gone all the way around, and nor have we gone with some of the big mods out there that, you know, cover everywhere from a massive central beehive. We've just put stacks at strategic intervals down the fields. And we'll just sort of experiment a bit with that. Sort of way the knees would get into it, I think. One of the kids has an idea, wants to be a bit different. Away they go. What I'm hoping we'll see, in fact we can go and walk on the field in a minute, is that there's a difference between how the fertilization shows up on the field. I don't know when you see that, but given the canola is just about ready to harvest, I'd have to imagine if it's going to show, it'd be soon. Back up here, probably just about got enough room. We don't need to do any more headlands, just do up and downs from here. So I think starting to get organised in the UK for the coronation. That must be coming up fairly shortly. I haven't been paying any particular attention to it, I must say. No doubt much pomp and ceremony will be involved. Let's see, we might square this off now, I think. Okay, our truck has reached the dealership, so that's good to know. I might just sort of square off on that line. Let's just pause you for a moment and head over there. That looks about the right sort of size to me. Practical for this district. And it'll take several loads out of the harvester, so that's oops, am I reversing in there? Seeing anything approaching like the right spot? Doesn't look like it. That's better. Cool. Beautiful. That feels appropriate. So you want to be going to 25 north also, I suspect. 25. Then we'll go and find out why our harvester hasn't reported in. Where are you going? Let's try that again. That's better. Oh, here we go. Are you there? That looks like 25 north. Right, so which side of the header do we want? We want that side. So let's swing you around nicely. Miss the pole. Drop the trailer. Let's see if we can get the kids set up here to do this successfully. How did your big sugar beet harvest play out, FSB? Did I hear correctly? You were doing a couple of million. In fact, you might be able to answer the question that I posed right at the beginning of the stream. How many or what size field do I need to generate 750,000 litres of sugar beets? This is quite a large field for this tractor, but that's okay. For this combine, but that's okay. And just while it's new, so let's set you up on a speed 60s. That's all fine. Lloyd Fruit Park in field, restrict to fields. prefer you to do that. Don't want to do that. We don't want you automatically spending money. Automatic trailer covers. Okay. Recall 60. $750K and 12.5 acres. G'day, Cranky. Welcome along. Oh, that's really handy to know. So, no. Let's apply that. Oh, now that I'm distracted, let's go and have a look at what that means. So 12.5 acres. How big is field 68? Of course, it doesn't tell me the area there. It tells me up there and it tells me in hectares. So it's, oh, so field 68's miles big enough. Because 13 hectares is about 40 acres. Well, that's really interesting. So that says, what's field 76 when it's at home? That's... yeah, that's right. That's what I thought. So that's about 15 acres. So if we put sugar beets, just for argument's sake, in fact, we could probably put them just on, what's that? That's, yeah, we could, if we planted sugar beet on 61 and 62, we would generate a crop that would make enough sugar to pay for the sugar mill. I'm inclined to do something like that and approach it that way. So actually seed it in the new, put a grass cover crop. Cool. Put a grass cover crop into 61 and 62 for the winter. Harvest it and make heaps of silage, and then pop sugar beet into 61 and 62 in the new year, and focus on those as the way to get into sugar, given that the sugar factory's 300 grand. That is sounding like a bit of a plan, I think. And in the meantime, still maybe we buy a trailed sugar beet harvester and topper, or a second-hand self-propelled if one were to come up. Okay, that's I'm feeling like a plan's coming together there. Cranky, just to catch you up, we've just bought a second harvester to match the one we had. So, oh, what am I doing? I am trying. The truck's here, which is excellent. I need to turn you on. I need to say, do all of that. Go and do 5 headlands, because this is a huge field and gives plenty of room for the truck to work. And I know from experience, Courseplay and autodrive tends to struggle on the first couple of headlands. Sound like Hannibal on the oh. I love it when a plan comes together. Dear. But to me, that's the fun part of the game. I love imagining a bit of a plan and then getting all the pieces to go to have it work out. It's, to me, that's where the game becomes really fun to play. We don't want to reduce that up and down. I think we'll stick with smooth corners. Let's go clockwise. we don't want to skip rows. I think we'll be fine. Generate the course, see what it looks like. Yep, pretty much what I expected. So just take it away, Sam. So you're all set up. You need to be. And then get out. Whoops. Let's not hit that button. Find the truck again, which is sitting right there. There it is. Let's bring you onto the field. Actually, we'll leave the waypoint there, but I've been observing that if the waypoint isn't actually set on the fields, autodrive can get a little bit confused. So you need to be set to unload combine. And where are we taking this grain to? We're on field 25. Field 25 is going to British Sugar Grain. Okay. So, Jason McKinley, welcome along. You only need the field waypoint on the harvester. Ah, okay. Cool, that's all I've done. Thank you, Cranky. What am I looking for here? I'm not looking for any of those. I want British Sugar Grain. That is the guy there. So, you're good. And click the button. Unload combine. So you should sit there. The truck should be set up sensibly. That's all we need. We'll just watch him for a minute because it's not going to take long to fill that combine, I guess. Speaking of which. So that's what you meant, Frankie. I just need that field to be set and that I don't need to do anything else on the auto drive, isn't it? We'll find out in a minute. And yes, class. My professional career involved a fair amount of continuous improvement, and one of the things I learnt along the way is if you want to make it a habit, you just need to measure. It doesn't matter how you perform initially, but you need to measure. Not at all, Jason. The lurking is perfectly fine. I'm delighted that people watch, even if they can't say I like it when people chat, of course, but it is not a prerequisite in here. Oh, I don't need the course play button on combine empty. Okay. Yeah, he's backing out of there to do what? Oh, he's going to cut in. There we go. Truck still hasn't moved. And the truck still hasn't moved. So what have I not done wrong here? This is what I meant. There we go. That's what you meant, Cranky. I just need to start it off. I was under the impression that having the court, and despite it saying stay out of the crop, avoid fruit. Which part of avoid fruit are you struggling with, Sunshine? It does, and that's part of, whoa, it gets in a bit of a hurry across there. So we'll just ignore the fact that it's driving in the crop. Yeah, and I've done 5 headlands, so when we get the headlands in place, it should stop driving in the crop. But that's all good. So as long as he unloads successfully here, there's a few loads to go. This one should progress. And one tank is 1%, so I'm tipping that means this harvester's going to take somewhere between 50 and 100 tanks off this field. Yes. Yeah, well, to me, that's the challenge that I'm looking for. Well, that backed out of there all right. The auger is the right height for this trailer, so that's good. You like our new trailer, Cranky? We're gradually getting the equipment we need in place, I think. Okay, so I have a moderate level of confidence that that's going to work. We can go back to here. Where we might as well go around and do an empty. We've almost finished taking the crop off this field. Yeah, I think when we get the next stage I want to get to on some of these large fields is with an auger wagon, just to do the in the field unloading. Let's just empty you out of there. And I just realized we're not going to put this in our silo. We're going to run this across to the chickens because this field completely is chicken food. And then we'll evaluate it when we get to next one. We'll see how much we take off it. I think, if I remember correctly, the numbers Mark Haythornwaite gave me last time, we need 60 litres per chicken per year. So on 6,000, that's going to be 360,000 litres. And we've not got 360,000 litres of wheat here, or barley here, but which just means we won't get to fully stocked, but we'll certainly get enough to open up all 4 or 3 of the sheds, I think. So we'll just see how we go. Yeah, that's true. When it gets to fully stocked, though, we can't have any more in. So yeah, there is going to be some rounding for sure as a result of all of that. I might just do another headland on the end here. We'll fill up that. Did that fill the truck? I wasn't paying attention when I did the unload. Do people have recommendations on skid steers? I loaded a few in. I've used a few different ones over my time. Yes, I'm loving it. I've actually been looking forward to doing this since doing the stream on Monday night, so it's just because it maps a really good size and mix of things. It's attractive to look at and explore, and managed to sort of get in my head a bit of a story that kind of works with, you know, keeping me interested and entertained. So I've also been doing so there are a few changes at Newlands. Yeah, it's quite interesting for those that caught last stream. A couple of funny things happened, but we'll catch up with that next week. And there should be a new Silver Run episode out today. Big dramas at Silver Run. Oof. That storm was a doozy. There we go. Let's run across the other side, pick the header up. Bit of water. Right, just about at the end of the tank. We might almost get round to the truck. Duck over and have a look at the canola in a minute, just to see if there is anything visible from where we put those beehives. You're not quite going to get there, so let's just scoop a little bit off the side here. I'm going to run the windrower across before I bale it anyway, so the baler doesn't have to do so many rows. You are full. No, you're almost full. So, let's turn you off for the minute. Jump in here. And send you up to chicken coop 1 food. Can you do that from in here, or is that just a bit beyond you? Might be a bit beyond you. Put you out on the road. Rightio, so you're off. You need a little bit of service and some fuel. We get a chance. If we run in here, let's just have a look at the soil map so that we don't get ourselves completely confused. So the soil map for this field, so there's a band of loam that runs through the middle of it, but basically there's only 2 soil types in the field. So up here we've got okay pH and perfect fertilizer, and it's telling us 96%. Oh, there's some fair bit of variation in the pH by the looks. Interestingly, the difference between good and bad is 4% in yield. So coming over here, good pH. Now we're at 98%. And it's this size. You can see one of the beehives there. So if we walk down the side here, we're at 98, still at 98. The range on these beehives isn't too far. So I've just crossed over the loam boundary there. Right beside another beehive. It actually dropped. $121. So my conclusion so far is it's not immediately obvious what difference the beehives make. We might be able to see it on the map when we harvest. So we're down at 100 again because we're back in sandy loam. And we're at 98%. And if we trundle across the field this way, away from them, and stay at a good pH, I would expect at some point that it would tell us that the yield dropped to sort of 95 or something, but I don't think it's going to do that until the pH changes. Interesting. So there's the pH drop, and that costs us 1%. And my conclusion, my early hypothesis would be that bees don't actually affect pollination with precision farming on. That would be my conclusion. another potential hypothesis is that precision farming breaks the way bees work. The pH is bad over here. We'll wait and see how we go. Now, next place I wanted to go, let's go back and check how we're going up the top here. Let's go and do it. Looks like he's stuck. No, he's waiting. Oh, and here comes the truck. We've arrived just in time. No, we haven't. I observed this problem before. Where is he going? Let's go for, I doubt that the truck is full. No. I observed this problem before. Let's turn you off. Turn you off. Go back. Oops. Didn't judge the depth there very well. Yeah, so what I found was that if the waypoint for the field was actually on the road outside the field, when it was trying to do the headlands, autodrive would get confused. So what we need to do is go into there and do it the other way, actually. That tree on the end is just in the wrong spot. Never mind. So if we record from here. And we put ourselves you're gonna get around there. Yep. Loop. Yeah, I lost that trust a long time ago, Jason. Now, and I seem to recall checking for it early on, but that'd be like in the first couple of months of the game. I haven't bothered with it since. I don't use bees an enormous amount. So this is F25. Wait. And then we'll do a loopy-doo onto there. And we'll change you. F25 weights. You up to there, and then we'll go over to the harvester and change you to, well, we'll stop you first. F25 weight. You're going to blow through 95%, which isn't a problem, because you're going to get full in a minute. Where's the truck gone? It's got stuck, has it? Yes, it has. Turn those off. Get off there. Reverse anytime you're ready. Yeah, pretty much the same, Jason. Oh, these far out, these cars. Why is that stuck in the ground? That's not good. Whoa. That's very glitchy and unusual. Not a good sign in our first job with the new trailer. Yeah, come on, get out of the way. Okay, that's looking promising. We'll just check. You have a great day too, Klaus. Great to see you. Thanks for dropping in. It's much appreciated. We'll catch you next time. Good luck with your next 450 hours on the Oaks. Rightio, that's looking better. So now if we jump across. And go to the chicken farm. We should find, lo and behold, I gotta open that. I don't know what the capacity of one of these is, so we'll find out. I cannot remember. Come on, find the trigger. It's not that hard. Why am I not getting a trigger? That's very odd. I don't recall having trouble. I dropped out of the truck the first time. I'm going to open you there. That's better. Maybe it's just the angle. You can go into that one. They don't quite take a trailer load. That's good to know. Let's have a look at chicken coop. That's the one. Where are we? This is coop 2. No, that's coop 1. This is coop 2. Coop 2, 19,500. Right. That will keep them going for a little bit. So what we'll do is the last little bit. Come on, swing over there. That's better. Oh, I've gone too far now. You're a fiddly little trigger, aren't you? That's a very good question. I was thinking of that while I was putting the... I believe I would be able to. So this is chicken coop 1. And this one is chicken coop 2. Very imaginatively named. There. That one can be 3. And that one is 4. Because I'd already renamed the one at Putney Manor and Putney Home Chooks, as I had their little cow pasture. So that, because I can see that very easily that we'll get to the point here that we forget, well, at least I forget what the hell I'm doing. What field am I going back to? Field 62. Three and 4 didn't rename, thank you. It just means I got carried away. Change. Don't hit the sell button, that really wouldn't be good. Chicken coop 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Thank you, Cranky. So now we can go back. Run down the road because I have do not tab set on the other harvester. I think we're going to get a lot of canola off that field, which will be nice. How full are we here? Suppose I could have grabbed a tractor and brought the windrower down, couldn't I? if I'd been thinking. Can do is tidy up this bit at the front here. Let's just zoom straight down there and do the triangle. Go up there. Just square him off. If Snowy did a test with bees and yield, didn't make that much difference. I can imagine that certainly our walking around suggests that it is nothing of significance. That's what I was supposed to do while I was at the chickens. I needed to put a rack in for the honey to spawn on. I did actually grab a honey mod. Yeah, the canola tastes nicer. Oh, I tell you what, we had some nice honey. The last batch here, it was out of white mahogany, apparently. It was gorgeous. Honey is quite popular in this household. It's the standard accoutrement for toast. Hopefully the tractor and trailer looks like it's made it back, so we can do an unload ourselves. That little stalk sitting over there. And that's not too bad. We've got the first of our fields in and dusted. Let's go grab the truck. We are going to have a lot of straw, and I remembered the other day looking at it that we didn't finish selling the straw that's already in the shed, so we'll need to keep an eye on the straw price and make sure we maximize that. Every little bit counts. We've got the next round. Now that we've basically nearly got all of the basic setup things we need, the next round of upgrades start to get expensive because we get in order to really work the the sizable fields on here, we're starting to want to move up into the bigger gears, so money woes never stop. That's good. I'm pleased we've got that crop off. It's a gorgeous day for harvesting today. Sun, more could you want? My thinking on crop rotations, so we were talking before, so we'll put sugar beet, well, put grass first, grass cover in these two fields, and then followed up with sugar beet, and then over the road I'm thinking we'll pop barley straight in there as soon as we've got the canola off, and that way we make sure we've got plenty of feed for whatever chicken population we're up to over the next year. And then I'm sort of thinking that the grass that we get off the silage off the cover crops going to silage will hopefully generate enough income to buy another field. That's the sort of way I'm thinking about that. Because we've got 4 clamps now. That makes a heap of sense, Cranky. I can see us needing to do the same thing so that we're not trying to bury feed from somewhere else. There's plenty of room on the land there. When they're when one of those sheds is fully stocked, how long, do you have any feel for how long that current feed bin lasts? I'm not I think you're asking the same question I just asked. We should be able to work it out. If it's, I think Mark said a chicken eats 60 litres a year, so that's going to be 15 litres a quarter per chicken. The feed bin is tick under 20,000 litres. So if it's 15 litres a quarter, and they hold 1,500, so what's that, 22,000 quarter fully stocked. So basically a bin is going to last close to a quarter. I thought that 60 litre figure was an annual figure, not a monthly figure. Oh, okay. No, 5 litres of chicken a month. Yeah, there's only 1,500 there though. $1,500 in each shed. So each shed has a 20,000 litre bin on it. No, so I'm tipping it'll go close to 3 months fully stocked. So if that's the case, we need best part of, or ideally you want like 100,000 litres of storage there as well. Additional storage. Righty-ho. So that's this field done. Let's empty you off there. And then I'll go and do the headlands next door. And then we might put horseplay on next door for the round up and downs. Managed to do 6% of field 25, so she's gonna be a long contract. I didn't look at the time estimate. We can do that in a sec. Yield's looking pretty good though on these fields, so I'm happy about that. Let's have a look at that contract. If we go over here. Field 25. Why is that not giving me an estimated time? Oh, wood in the harvest. So what have we got over there? Field 25. 5 hours and 11 minutes. Times for borrowed equipment. Thank you. Now I've got it in my simple inspector, which I'm keeping open down there on the left side so that you guys can see what's going on if you're following it that closely. I keep forgetting to look there. Haven't quite trained myself yet. Oh, that wasn't very good. And based on how this goes, Ah, cool. Thank you, Cranky. I've been seeing the messages flap up and it still kept going, so I figured that it had sorted itself out. And in fact, it's just taken a load to the sell point, so we're 8% transported. So basically 12.5 truckloads by the sounds of it. See if we can get along here without leaving a sliver. Just drive by feel under the trees. This is where we've got these drone views. Just back up a little bit so I can get around the corner. Right. Coming along nicely. What we might do is pop up when I get round to the top. We'll pop up to the shop and organise ourselves skid steer for the chicken farm. Also have a look and see if we've got a little silo that would be appropriate to follow up on Cranky's idea at the chickens. Quite interesting. I was watching occasionally I watch Laura Farms, and just by the by, this week they bought a before Christmas they bought a truck, and which as Grant said, he then proceeded to rebuy the truck in parts to fix it. They buy at auctions and sales and things. Anyway, they'd gotten a trailer, but in passing it came up that they were using the 8R they were using had been bought second hand, and you just happened to mention that it had 300 hours on it, so it was basically brand new. And I thought, gee, that's a huge contrast to Farm Sim. I don't think I've got a tractor on any of my saves that's over 100 hours, and even the ones that I have that are anything like it are at that level purely because I bumped up the the hours to make it a bit more realistic. Okay, so we'll go there. Let's head up to here now. Skid steers. So I put a couple of, I figured New Hollands might be, oh, let's make sure there's nothing popped up in the sales. So far, none of that stuff is anything that we want. So skids, I popped a couple of New Hollands in. Not really having used them, I don't have a point of view. The tally skid is very similar to the tally truck that I am familiar with. I don't know if you guys have a preference or a recommendations, but they're the options that I have in skid steers. In forklifts, I did put a couple of forklifts in case we thought they might be a good idea. So that Komatsu and the lizard I added. That's good. Let's have a look. That's the harvester. The sell point that it's going to is down here somewhere. So it really is a cross map. Oh, there it is. It's back. So it's a long haul down to the bottom of the map because the delivery point's down down here, British Sugar Grain. But it looks like it's got its way back and is resumed its course nicely. So I'm happy about that. If we were just operating inside one, I'd kind of be inclined to look at a forklift. If I looked at a forklift, it would probably be something like this guy. Because I just don't think the wheel setups on the others are suited to those sheds and the exterior arrangement. The other alternative is to get a little, because they're nice and maneuverable, a little telehandler. But I'm just not sure. See, something like that guy wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. I mean, potentially more versatile. Although in reality, the vehicle that we get is going to live at the chicken farm. I'm not expecting to traverse it across the map. I don't know. What do people think? Cranky's a fan of the skid steers. I don't think there's any downside, so maybe we just go for a skid steer. So then the question becomes brand. So JCB, New Holland or Kubota are the three that I've got there. Do you have a preference? I guess we've got Jason also likes the skid steer. Okay. It's not, I'm not strong one way or another, so let's go with the skid steer. Brands wise, I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe we just throw a New Holland in there just because I can't think of having used one. So then it just becomes which one. So skid steers, what's the difference? I don't think we want tracked. That's a point. Tracks are slow for infield use. Didn't like the New Holland. Currently using a Kubota and it's been good. I have used... I kind of like the idea if I can put some more weight on the back, and it doesn't look like that's possible with that guy. I don't like tracks. Yeah, I've got the reason I didn't put the Massey in here is that I've actually got that on Newlands. And for not any particular strong reason with grid, I just thought I'll do something different. Okay, that's the JCB. Let's have a look at the Kubota. Okay, so that does have a weight. Not enormous, but it's enough to make a difference. I reckon we go with the Kubota. Let's give this a whirl. I like the look of it. It's a bit different. Sold to the man in the funny hat. Right, so we have a Kubota and we need... The main thing we need down there is just pallet forks. Nothing fancy, just... I don't know what carriage free means. All these choices. Let's just go with these guys for the minute. That's all we need down there. You're emptied. So you're trucking along. There's our groovy little Kubota. Start him up. Yep. Oh, that does the job. I'm happy with that. We're going to let one of the kids drive it on the road. I'm sure they'll figure it out. The youngest one, if they get pulled over, they can argue their way out of trouble. Mainly because we've got more important things to be doing. I need default and I want to go to Coop 1 Park. Looks very fancy. What are you? 3707. I forget my horsepowers. 3707 is 75. Is that enough for the windrower? No, it's not. Need this guy, which is enough for the windrower. We can drive you down. Righto. Things are cooking along. With that windrower, I'll do that manually when we get a moment. Let's just whip round here and get another headland on. You're empty, put you down. We're on track to get another load into the next chicken coop, which will be good. Oh, that's what we didn't look at, was silos. Now, if you see the silo that you're using, Cranky. I don't have them here, but I'm thinking potentially one of the Polish. I haven't done much with silos because they're all sheds, I think, or huge complexes, which I don't think are what we want. No. The other alternative is, will those take extensions? Will those sheds take extensions? I don't have the right sort of extension anyway. I was thinking maybe one of the Winkler silos might be the right sort of size. There's from memory, there's like a $75,000 one, that 75,000 litre one rather, that feels like it could be a good size to think about. Because based on the math we did before, initially that would be fine, and probably ultimately the 75 will look after 2 sheds, and we put another one at the other end for the other 2 sheds, and that'll sort the whole thing out. We can work our way to that. For the minute we've got room. Actually, it's a good question. Where will we store this excess? We've only got 2 storage areas at the yard just up the road, so probably don't want to be storing it there, and we might put it in the big silo. We might use the yard up the road to put our canola in. But I think we'll go and check on how the other harvest is coming along. Or the other field 25. But I think we're pretty much at a point where we might leave it for today. We've done all of the things that were on my list, as I recall. We've got eggs to sell, but they need to be loaded, and the trailer's got fuel and baling net twine on it, so there's a few little logistical things that need to happen. If a flatbed truck came up in the sales, like a little man flatbed, I'd buy that too. That would be quite useful rather than a trailer. Well, we almost made it on the first lap, so we'll make this headland comfortably, and then we'll just go check on field 25, which is still kicking along now that they're must be about onto his 3rd headland, I would have thought, around there. I think I'll run the next stage of my experiment. I might take the little auger wagon up there and see if a tractor on that auger wagon can help keep the harvester moving while the truck is doing the delivery. We'll just see how that goes. He's just full again. Yeah, the yield looks really good. Really, really good. Just top off our trailer. While we're here. Get it in the trailer, that's always a good idea. We're going to send you to Group 1 Park again. Looks good. Back it up. Try not to put it in the hedge. Right. Next. So you are on the 4th headland, in fact. That's all right. 71%. So you're looking to head off. Looks pretty good. Might be a screenshot in that. We'll just grab one just to be done. Let's just check the contract situation to see if anything else interesting's popped up. We don't want any bailing for now. And there are heaps of harvest contracts going. 69's the field that I wouldn't mind buying. So that one's at 270 grand. So the way we're going about things, we won't have that back all that quickly. But as you can see, there's plenty of crop coming ripe. So, and plenty of stuff to be harvested right at the minute, especially up around us. And we've got 2 of these 5 underway. So nice and convenient to put any excess in our silo. But for now, I think that's where we might leave it, folks. Thank you very much for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your week, wherever you might be in the world. Stay safe and have fun. See you, folks.